Ms. Brea, are there persons desiring to speak before the board?
Yes, there are.
I think I have one here. All right, I'm going to do my best to pronounce our only person desiring to speak before the board properly. It's Malik, Hoshi. Was I close? Not really? All right.
So I just direct speak?
Yeah, so you have 3 minutes to speak, and we'd be happy to, if you wouldn't mind giving your name and address, introducing yourself. And then
My name is Abdul Malik Hoshi, and 1412 10th Street, apartment 7. And I'm here to talk to you about Martha Samuel and a community liaison who works with the Newcomers Program. And recently, I found that there won't be that position, I guess, next year on. And I wanted to talk to you about the impact that she had on many other students as well as me. And it was really hard for me to find that part of that job being released because I'm graduating this Friday at Greeley Central High School, and I wouldn't be able to tell you that I would be able to tell you that I could have done that without Martha. And she has helped me find many resources to get my grades up and find the goals that I wanted to, especially when I wanted to do track, and my grade was a huge impact. And we all know you cannot do sports without good grades. And I wanted to let you know that was the biggest thing for me, that Martha, and she has done many things for me as well as others, and helping Ms. DeGroat with a full schedule so she can help me after school, and Ms. Cooney with Teatro, and helping me go to truancy cases. And I can go on, but I just wanted to basically tell you that if there was a time or an energy to spend on, it would be to consider and to look at it and to give Martha, I guess, a chance. And I know in the future to come, there's great things that she can do. And there's so many other students that deserve help. And I know every day she's always giving me the help, helping me find UC students that are willing to give that extra time, helping me find that extra push to do my FAFSA early so I don't have to worry about it, helping me getting my graduation gown and everything else. And I just wanted to ask if there was a moment or a second to spend on it to reconsider. Thank you.
Thank you, Abdul Malik. We'll move on to the agenda. May I have a motion to approve the agenda? Oh, we need a work session report. Ms. Brea?
Board Directors Rhonda Solis and Steve Hall began the work session with a debrief of the Kalamazoo, Michigan conference they attended. Superintendent Dr. Renell Lang reviewed a revised timeline for the district strategic plan. Vice President Logan Richardson led the discussion on the superintendent and board goals for 2014-15. Executive Director of Learning Services Dr. Stacy Dattery and AVID Coordinator Amanda Krieger presented an update on the AVID program in the district. Chief Academic Officer Nancy Devine, Director of Elementary School Leadership Terry Zubler, with East Memorial Principal Justin Ungerhauer and Romero Principal John Cooney presented an update on the consolidation of East Memorial and Romero into a K-8 academy. Mr. Ungerhauer and Mr. Cooney discussed the marketing plan. Mr. Zubler discussed the facility upgrade plan, the moving plan, and the transportation plan. And that concluded the work session.
Thank you, Ms. Brea. That will take us to item F, approval of the agenda. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move that the Board of Education of Wall County School District 6 approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Ms. Brea, may we have a roll? Is there any discussion? A roll call vote, please. Oh.
Ms.
Point of order, I'd like to ask the parliamentarian. If there is a point, if there are items on the agenda that we don't, or that we feel we don't want to talk about tonight or look at tonight, is it appropriate to ask for a call to order for vote for removal or no?
When you get to the item, ask that it be postponed.
Okay. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Ms. Breer, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Haefele?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Lydiak?
Aye.
Dr. Richard? Aye. Mr. Richardson?
Aye.
Mrs. Solis?
Aye.
And the motion carries 6-0.
All right. The next item is G, consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move that the Board of Education of Will County School District 6 approve items as presented on the consent agenda and authorize the officers to sign any and all contracts.
Second.
Any discussion? Ms. Berea, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Haefele?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Lydiak?
Aye.
Dr. Richard?
Aye.
Mr. Richardson?
Aye.
Mrs. Solis?
Aye.
And the motion carries 6-0.
All right. We're to next. I must have the old version. I guess I had an old version of the agenda. We're on item G now, so special items. Yeah, that's okay. I had an old one. This is an information item on the Newcomer Program. It's an update by Executive Director of Learning Services, Dr. Stacy Dattery.
Very good. All right. So thank you, Vice President Richardson, Dr. Lang, and members of our board to be able to provide us an opportunity to share with you our Newcomer Program. With me this evening is a wonderful team. They don't want to come up here, however. Our amazing team. Ms. Frances Schneeweiss is our English Language Development Coordinator. And she, along with our teachers, Katie and Candy and Jessica, whom you've met, are our newcomer teachers who teach our newcomer students. And together we would like to be able to share with you a little bit about our newcomer program and who our students are. A newcomer, just to be clear, is defined as a student who has been in the country for less than 1 year and who places at that entering or beginning English proficiency level on that initial placement exam. So we will share with you a bit more about who are these newcomer students. Where do they come from around the globe? What does their instructional day look like? Maybe somewhat similar and yet somewhat different from what another student's might look like. What are the supports that we provide for them in order to help them be successful? And what are some more of those additional activities that honor and engage our newcomer students? So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Frances Schneeweiss, and she's going to share a little more information.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for having me here. It is an honor to be here presenting the framework that District 6 implements to serve the newcomer students, which make up a significant population in the district and who bring diverse experiences, skills, and knowledge to our schools. The Greeley Evans community is rich in diversity. Newcomer students come from all over the world, from North, Central, and South America, from Africa, India, the Middle East, from Europe, and Asia. District 6 population has experienced an increase of students that are identified as English learners in the past 5 years. There are 49 recorded birth countries in the district, not counting the US. Many of the students that attend District 6 schools come with no English or very limited English language. So the district has a responsibility to teach language and academics to these students and to give them all the social needs that they need and deserve. These are some facts about our district. We have 62 recorded primary home languages other than English. As of last week, our English learner population is 5,147 students, and these are some of the main languages spoken in our district besides English. The newcomer students in District 6 transition towards English language proficiency by receiving intensive oral language development and language arts classes where they obtain a strong literacy and language foundation. The Newcomer Program goals are to prepare students with better content language foundations so that they will have access to higher level classes as they exit the Newcomer Program. And also to orient students to the U.S. culture, because the newcomers, as you know, they've been here for less than a year, and they need to build their skills to survive and cope in this new environment. So these are our 3 newcomer sites. We have a newcomer program at Centennial Elementary, and our teacher is Katie Acosta. We have a Newcomers Program at John Evans Middle School, and Candice Gonzalez is our awesome teacher. And at Greeley West, we have Jessica Cooney. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it to Miss Katie Acosta, and she'll tell you all about our program at Centennial.
Good evening. First of all, I just want to tell you at Centennial, I don't know of anyone on our staff that is not incredibly proud of our diversity at our school. We work daily across the school to build our students' culture into all content areas. So we have, just at Centennial, we have an amazing group of students as well as through the district. Just in our building alone, we have approximately 90% of our students speak another language other than English. And those, it's not just English and Spanish. We have a large majority of Spanish speakers, but we also have a lot of Burmese speakers, Somali speakers, Karen and Kareni, which those language groups also come from Burma or Myanmar. We have students who speak Swahili, French, and Chuukese. So with all of these languages in our building, we have one language that we try to teach all of their academics in, and that's English. So the students that come to our building have varying levels of prior education. At the elementary level, typically students who have a solid education in their primary language or their home country, they generally don't enter the Newcomer Program. Or they may be serviced partially by the Newcomer Program through oral language development and writing and literacy blocks. But generally, the students serviced by the Newcomer Program are in grades 2 through 5 and come from backgrounds of limited or no prior education. Just last year, for example, I got several 4th and 5th graders that did not even know how to count in their own language. So those are the kinds of things we have to build those that educational background for them, even in their first language, to be able to get content mastered here. So newcomers spend much of their first weeks learning how to play school. Since they have limited educational background, I had 2 Somali girls, for example. Last year, one girl came to me, and she was a 4th grade student, and she could not even sit in her chair. She didn't know how to open a box of crayons. She couldn't hold a pencil. And I had another Somali girl come to me, just a couple years younger than her, but she had been in school before, and she knew how to play school. She knew how to sit in the desk and receive information and produce information. So she did not stay in the Newcomer Program nearly as long as the other girl did. So exiting the Newcomer Program happens by just following the evidence that supports the student's ability to perform in the mainstream classroom. And most of the time, students go through a partial exit into math and then science and social studies blocks before being completely exited. Other things that our newcomers are involved in is the MAST-L grant through UNC. It's math and science teaching for English language learners. At our school, MAST is a part of Centennial Dos Rios in our district, and UNC professors and scholars, UNC students, work together to try and find best practices to teach English language learners. So at our building specifically, we have 1 teacher at each grade level, except 4th, where there's 2 teachers, and then I'm also part of that grant. So we get a lot of extra help and ideas and support for our newcomers that way. A couple of the most effective strategies we have used are sentence frames. You see the girl in the picture using sentence frames to help her improve her math concepts and be able to talk about math in English. And then and using and science and using academic vocabulary. So using collaborative grouping with posters, and students evaluate other students' work. So those are some of the things that we work on with the MassDel grant. We also incorporate the WIDA can-do descriptors, which give us a guideline as to what kind of language we can expect from each student, and push a student towards the next language proficiency so that they can reach that of their English-speaking peers. And then as a building also at Centennial, we have a yearly, we just had our 4th annual celebration for the MultiCultural Celebration on May 8th. This is a celebration, we just celebrate all of the cultures in our building, from American culture to Latino culture, all of our Somali, Karen, Burmese cultures, where the parents plan and cook and bring the food items to the school, and we all share each other's food and cultural experiences. They bring cultural performances. JBS generally donates meat for the parents to use to do the cooking. And we've had Christ Community volunteers that come in and help serve the food, and they also donate the paper products. But UNC, the MassDel grant, those professors and the scholars also volunteer. We also have all of our staff. They are not required to stay, but generally the great majority of our staff at Centennial stay and donate their time for the event. We had Brentwood Lulac hip hop dancing, traditional and folkloric Mexican dancers, and Somali dancing, all from Brentwood. And in the past, we've also had Greeley West and Greeley Central that have put performances together for our celebration. And then Nagres 2 also organizes the Karen and Karenni dancers. So we just have a lot of collaboration to help support newcomers, and not only just in the Newcomer Program, but throughout the building as they exit the Newcomer Program as well.
Thank you, Katie. Thanks.
Good evening. My name is Candy Gonzalez, and I'm at John Evans. This year, there's actually a total of 29 newcomers at John Evans at the middle school level, and there's a total of 6 languages and 10 different countries represented, which is kind of really cool for me and the John Evans staff. This year, we actually started off the school year working with the Phonics for Reading program, which really gave us a foundation for phonics before we transitioned into Language X, which is our core replacement. And then in that curriculum, we actually focus on the spelling and the vocabulary, the reading, writing, so it all comes together for them. This year, we actually saw quite an influx of students coming in right after Christmas break, winter break, which was interesting. So we actually were able to get Catherine Howell from Centennial to come over and work with some phonics on them so that I can continue to move the students in Language X, which was fantastic. They also, our newcomer students also receive 1 block of oral language development, which actually gives them a lot of practice, kind of in the real world sense, practicing the vocabulary, using it in theme theaters, which they love, and just practicing their language patterns, decoding grammar. And then also, each student is actually in a grade level math class. At John Evans, the ELD team actually goes into math classrooms to give in-classroom support so that we can actually partner with the math teachers to shelter the instruction for the students. We've seen huge success with that. Next year, we're actually kind of looking into clustering students a little bit more so that the teachers can actually focus on one group in each class that they have of those ELD students, including the newcomers. So that's really fantastic for us for next year. Right now, each math teacher is working with us to work with the can-do descriptors to really learn how to shelter and to use the strategies that are successful for the ELD students and specifically the newcomer students. Students also participate in a math intervention class. We tried it the last trimester. We thought they have enough grasp on English that they can go in and do that. A lot of the intervention teachers said, "This is my favorite class. They're so much fun. They're willing to learn and try new things," which is amazing. And they also receive 1 elective class at this point. Usually it's PE. They love to run and play, and they need that. Some students chose to take the choir class, which is fantastic because you hear them singing "We Are the World" and all these different songs, and they just love it. So we're really excited about the planning for next year with curriculums and everything. I also wanted to share some of the in-classroom, real-world learning that we do. We were able to tap into the our chef in the classroom, this year twice. The first time they came out, they showed us how to make a healthy snack, kind of a pita bread with peanut butter and fruit. They were able to cut it up and serve it to each other, and they actually chose to do as a celebration. I said, what would you guys like to do? They're like, let's make the snack again, let's make the snack. And so they brought in all the supplies, and we cut up everything, and they enjoyed it, they loved it. The last chef that came in, they made breakfast smoothies. They had spinach and carrots in them, and they cut them up, and you can see in the picture, they were just engaged 100%. They wanted the chef to stay all day. So I also try to offer opportunities for them to do some team building, because I think it's very important with all the diversity that we have in our classroom, really learn how to communicate with one another and take the time to learn from each other. I think sometimes we get also busy about learning and going through the curriculums. We try to do this at least once a month and just give them some playtime, and they have to work together. I mean, we do it in the workplace, so why shouldn't we do it in the classroom? And then I would also like to share some engagement opportunities. We have a huge number of ELD students, specifically newcomers, that we really target for the summit program. I have the opportunity to be the site facilitator this year, so starting in the summer. So right now we have 120 students registered, 71 are ELD, and all the newcomers are participating. So we're really excited about that, focusing on language development during the summer. Our No Place for Hate is also a great place for our students to be, so we can share the diversity and really learn from each other and use the skills that we're learning in the team building to use in the No Place for Hate. We kind of coexisted with LULAC this year, and actually after we went to go see the performance from the high school's El Teatro, the students said, why can't we do that? So we started a dance crew. We're not the stages where Jessica's group is, but we're gonna get there. And they performed 6 different dances, cultural dances, at our WIDA Access celebration on the 5th. That we had 160 people in attendance. The kids did a fantastic job. It was just really great. Showed their pride in where they come from and where their future is going. So also Soccer Without Borders. All of the ELD newcomer students were part of Soccer Without Borders, which is after school, the soccer program, and they go out there and they play their little hearts out. So it's been a fantastic year, and I just want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to work with the newcomers at the middle school level.
Thank you so much. And Jessica Cooney's going to share a little bit more about the high school program.
All right, well, you've already heard a lot about who our students are and the programs that we use, so I am honored to be able to share a little bit of the other that we do, the beyond the classroom activities that we do. We do a great deal to promote family engagement. You met my daughter earlier tonight, so being a parent myself, I know firsthand how important it is for parents to be involved in the school, but I also know how scary that can be for a parent the first time you bring your student to school. Even for me, it was scary the very first time, so I know how important that is. So we work very hard to find ways for our parents to be able to come into the schools and feel comfortable, even though they might not know the language, even though maybe they themselves have never been in a school before. We find ways to make them feel welcome. One of those is the Multicultural Mothers Group. That's a craft group / parent meeting group. We made it as a craft group because a lot of our families, a lot of our mothers especially, knew how to do crafts and did crafts on their own. And so we meet during the school day, and the premise is the moms come in and they have a time where they can work on crafts, and we teach them some crafts and they teach one another some crafts. During that time, we also help them a little bit with English, but most importantly, it's kind of an informal place where they can ask questions about their students' education. Perhaps they've received a phone call that they don't understand. They want to know about their grades or attendance. So that's a time where we allow them that opportunity. And the neatest part of this is we sell these crafts during different school events, and all the money goes back to the parents. So it's a way for the moms to begin to earn, it's not obviously not a lot, but a tiny bit of income to bring back to their families as well. This year, we also, in conjunction with UNC and Greeley West, Greeley Central, the City of Greeley, and the Centennial Village Museum participated in the Roots program, which is a program that explores not only the history of Greeley, but our students' personal histories and allows them to really connect with Greeley and see that we all came here as newcomers at one point. We also have a really neat group that we provide for our young women. Oftentimes, our girls don't understand all that there is to know about female health. So we give them the option to work directly with Sunrise Monfort Family Clinic and the Global Refugee Center and some women's health professionals to meet after school and discuss some of those questions that they might not feel comfortable asking, questions that they might have about how they can keep themselves healthy as well. So that's a really, really neat program, I think, for our students. The other program that we just participated in, and you probably saw it in the newspaper today, is the mural project, which allowed our students to express themselves and decorate Greeley with some very, very beautiful artwork. And that was in conjunction, again, with the North Colorado Health Alliance and the City of Greeley. And it was just a fantastic program for our students. And then you heard Dr. Dattery describe a little bit our Greeley Young Authors Program, and I'll go very quickly. The idea behind that is just to not only support our students' English language acquisition, but to allow them a chance to tell their stories. We know that our students come from very, very difficult backgrounds, and sometimes the very best way that you can begin to heal from all of your suffering is to be able to share your story. And so that's what brought this project forward. It's awesome, authentic writing. It gives the chance for the students to write because they want to. They're motivated because they get to tell their story, and they know their story is going to be in a book. And what better way to teach grammar than them editing their own stories? It's a phenomenal program, and they've also been able to learn a lot of technology. I can confidently say that most of the students are now more adept at technology than I am from this program, because they had to create the layout of a book. They had to edit their own photos, all of these different things, and thank goodness we worked with UNC on this project, because I felt like I learned as much as the students did. And then you heard a little bit about our El Teatro program. We have been lucky the past 2 years to travel out of state with our students. This program grew from about 8 years ago. We had 2 different languages and 8 different students, and now this year we had 13 different languages and 30 students. So we are just moving forward with that. It's a beautiful thing to be able to educate the community, I think, with student stories. And that's where people learn, is when they hear the stories come from these beautiful children. And we just love it. And our performances, we already have them planned out next year for October 30th and November 1st at the Union Colony Civic Center. So we are just already so excited to continue moving forward with this project. And that's it for me, so thank you.
All right. Well, you've heard a very good description about the Newcomers Program, and I think you get a very good idea. These are just some additional services that go beyond the school day, and with our wonderful teachers here that are teaching our newcomers on a daily basis, I want to just close up and ask you if you have any comments or questions. Please let us know. You can also go into our website. There is a link that is called Embracing Diversity. If you look on Our District, you'll see it on your left-hand side, and there is more information about our English learners in there.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Questions? Ms. Elise?
Task for them to be in this process, and you just make that so much easier. And I remember Jessica Cooney years ago with my daughter, and my daughter was actually in El Teatro, and she still remembers that wonderful experience to this day. And you touch people and it stays, so thank you very much.
Mr. Hall?
Ms. Solis, and in this business, and there were some of us that were back in Kalamazoo last week, we spent a great deal of time talking about examples of inspiring hope. Right there, what you guys do. And I can only imagine, but you are taking people that are new here, that can't communicate or very little communication, and giving them a comfort zone, teaching them how to be a part, and that's about as instrumental as you can be with a young person. So I take my hat off to you, and I commend you for it, and I thank you for it.
Mr. Hafley?
And each of you, thank you very much. I had the privilege of working with Jess, and we could only all hope to be as great an educator as she is. I always strive to be like her, and each of you, we talk about the achievement gap. I disagree with that. It's the opportunities gap. And what you do is you narrow that gap, and you allow them to play on the same playing field with everybody else. So each of you should be very proud of your efforts, and thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you very much for all your work.